Everyone is trying to manifest their soulmate, but just because someone's your soulmate or a specific type of soulmate does not make them your most aligned life partner. So in this video, I'm going to break down the different types of soul connections and spiritual connections and what you should actually be calling in if you want the most aligned life partner for you. One of the most common reasons people come to see me is they want to ask about their love life. They want to know about their current relationship, if it's correct for them. They want to know how to manifest their person. And this is such a big conversation I've been thinking about a lot recently because with the new year, I have a lot of people in my life who are desiring their life partner. And when we're looking at an aligned connection, when we're looking at life partnership, there's a spiritual component to this, and there's also a very human component to this. And one of the things that comes up in these conversations, it's connected to labels that we have, like soulmates, twin flames, sacred union partners, divine counterparts, divine masculines, divine feminines. There are a lot of different terms, and I have talked about this before, but I wanted to go a little bit deeper into some of these labels that are relevant if you are desiring to attract in your life partner. And the way I'm going to do this today is I'm going to write some things on the board here as we work through these. But I've also already called in the guides, and I'm going to be kind of channeling live, like they're all kind of over in that corner right now, and listening in on what they're saying, because I do want to get some more channeled information in addition to some of the stuff that I have already been chatting to them about. And typically when I am channeling on love relationships, I will communicate with a couple of different frequencies. One being, I often find that different twin flame partnerships who are ascended masters will come forward. And I learn a lot about relationship dynamics from them, as well as reading the field and looking at where there is vibrational resonance with different partners. So one of the things when I'm looking at compatibility between people, there is a very energetic level of compatibility. I imagine similarly to how astrologers can look at compatibility. Look, no one can ever tell you this is for sure it, or there's no way this could work, but we can read energy and see where things will have openings, where it could be easier, where there's more flow, and other places where it might be a little bit more difficult, or there will be more challenges in that area. There's also a very real, from my perspective as a psychic, a very real either frequency vibrational resonance or a vibrational mismatch. And in my work in this realm and in other places, I always have to kind of balance. There's my human that knows a lot about the more practical side of relationships and love dynamics and psychology and healthy relationship patterns. Before I did this, when I went to college, I thought I was going to become a relationship therapist. So I've learned a lot about it from that lens, and I just have an interest in that. But then there's this other side of reading things psychically and intuitive information that comes through. And I'm always trying to find what's that grounded place where those can intersect, understanding both sides. So what I'll tell you from a frequency perspective and from a timeline perspective is there are multiple people who could be an aligned partner for you in your life. What we have to understand is, from a soul level, from a frequency level, nobody is telling us we have to engage in the act of marriage. So we have to understand that marriage is something that we created as humans. There are these things that we've created as humans, these different labels for relationships or phases of relationships that we created. And the more spiritual or soul resonant component doesn't always map onto that. Like when you're looking energetically or psychically at, is this person my soulmate, my twin flame, my divine counterpart? This is separate from marriage, because in the non-physical, on a soul level, like you're not coming down here orienting from who am I going to marry, but you are orienting from who do I have contracts with, soul contracts with, who is here to support me, to activate me, who is a powerful mirror for me. And so we have to understand that we kind of need to separate those two things out. And what happens is a lot of people are trying to combine both, and then that's where they get stuck. Because just because somebody is your spiritually XYZ, they have this certain vibrational relationship to you on a soul level, doesn't necessarily mean that they are the most aligned life partner for you. And one of the things that I have been channeling about recently and talking to the guides about recently has been, this whole concept of what guidance can you give us to help people choose their most aligned life partner? And that specific guidance will change depending on the person. But one of the main things that they have expressed has been understanding the feelings connected to different types of soul relationships, and understanding what you know to be true about your deepest desires for your life and the flow of your life and who you really are and what's going to support you best and feeling your best throughout your life, and then choosing from there. And to go off of that, one of the things that most people I find really don't think enough about is, what do you believe is the function of your romantic relationship? What do you believe is the purpose of your marriage? So if somebody's thinking about, should I marry this person? You have to come back to, well, what is it that a marriage is supposed to support me with? Like, what is the point of the marriage? What is the point of the relationship? And from a spiritual perspective, relationships mirror for us. And I've been having this conversation a lot recently about just this very simple concept of, we know that our romantic partners are our deepest mirrors. And so we're looking at who can mirror me in a loving way and give me grace, and who do I want to do that deeper healing work with, versus what containers do I feel like I'm not getting a safe or healthy mirror? Who is allowing me to express myself authentically? And really, I'll phrase it differently, because it's always you either allowing yourself or not to. But in what setting do I feel like I get to become more of myself? Do I feel safer to do that? And in what settings do I notice that I tend to hedge what I want to say or dilute myself? And sometimes that is a fear that we have that we get to overcome with that partner. And other times there's something about the container that's not feeling safe enough for us on some deeper level. Sometimes energetically, the container is just not built to activate the frequency. It literally doesn't have the vibrational capacity to activate the frequency that we are desiring to be activated in our lives. So I want to back into this conversation from that perspective. And we're going to talk about some different types of soul connections that are relevant. And they're saying there are lots of different ways that you can label these, but we're just gonna start somewhere here. So types of soul connections. Let's start with a soulmate. Soulmate, and then different types. If there's more of a romantic energy, what they call sacred kin, I'll ask them to describe that. And then familial, and there's more types of soulmates as well. There are lots of different types of soulmates, and really all of these are going to be types of soulmates. But then we can go into twin flame. I'll put karmic here, but I should have put it next. Karmic, soulmate, twin flame, divine counterpart, sacred union, divine feminine, or masculine. What else do you want me to do? We'll do divine life partner or life partner. All right, so we're going to go through these, and I'm going to drop into channel related to this. So I'm actually going to orient from Archangel Michael, who leads the Twin Flames, and Yeshua and Mary, Shakti and Shiva, Sanat Kumara, and Lady Venus. I'm just going to call in some different divine partnerships. And I'm just going to ask what we need to know related to these different types of soul connections. And Tyler, as we go, I think they'll probably cover most of them, but then if we miss any, you can kind of prompt on the board. All right. We are excited that you are at a space energetically where you are ready to activate your next level of divine partnership, of divine union. And why this topic is so important at this time is that many of you are reaching a pinnacle of frequency. This is what we will call it, where the partnerships that will work for you in a way where you feel flow and ease will be those with a sacred type of soulmate connection, a very specific type of soulmate connection, whereas those where the type of soulmate connection or energetic connection is limited will have to fall apart or will create so much friction in your life. You will experience health issues, you will experience illness, you will experience negative self-talk, you will feel yourself in a prison of your own mind, you will feel restrictive. And our highest guidance for you when you are evaluating different relationship dynamics is to come back into the energy that you feel in your body and noticing how your body is communicating with you about the container that you are in. Noticing the wisdom of your body in whether or not it opens, if it expands or contracts, but expanding beyond your body and into your actual energy field, your entire energy field, and noticing if in the container of the relationship, your energy field is expanding, you are evolving, you are deepening within yourself, or if you feel that you are bumping up against a wall, if you feel you are in a bubble of limitation, these are all signals for you. And as Christina mentioned before, the key code is for you to take time within yourself and within your heart to fully decide and claim what type of partnership you desire in your life. For all different types of soul connections will bring a unique or specific flavor or dynamic for you. And the ideal connection for you is based on the energy that you desire. And so while all flavors can be beautiful and wonderful, you need to know yourself and what is going to be in highest alignment or highest resonance for you based on your soul mission, your soul contracts, your unique vibrational individuality, and feeling into who matches that frequency and opens more of that frequency within yourself. So to describe that more deeply, some of these relationships will create more of a feeling of harmony, a sense of home, a sense of deep, deep, deep safety, a sense of nourishment and flow. And one way of feeling into this would be through the archetypes of the zodiac. We love archetypes as a way of communicating to you energies and feelings. And so in the zodiac, feeling into water energy, feeling into the signs of Cancer, the signs of Pisces, a more home-based energy. This is one feeling that you might perceive or experience in your relationships. Another might be the type of Scorpio energy where there is intensity and there is more passion and there is more sexuality. That is a different type of frequency. While another type of frequency could be aligned with a fire sign such as Aries or Leo, where the relationship has a foundation of freedom and individuality and breaking past current relationship templates and creating something new. And so we could go through all of the different signs of the zodiac as a way of representing flavors and feelings and energies of different ways that you can feel in your romantic relationships. And the truth is that there is not just one feeling you are all meant to have. It is one up to you to choose. You have choice in your divine life partnership and in your life partnership. But two, there is an energetic compatibility that will align with the flavor your frequency brings in this incarnation and this time, space, reality experience. And so knowing yourself and becoming aware of how you flourish and where you contract or where you are in more fear, where you hold yourself back, is going to be the most important part of understanding which of these dynamics will be ideal for you. And what we would say is we invite you to not lock into manifesting a specific type of soul connection or, of course, a specific person, but to be in allowance and openness to align with the feeling you desire to feel in your life, and then notice for any type of soul connection to come forward and allow or cultivate that feeling within the container in itself. Most of you block yourselves because you are setting strong intention with a specific desire or type of soulmate connection that isn't necessarily in highest alignment with what you want. And so as you make choices and as you set intention, you will notice friction when the intention you are setting is coming from your ego or what your mind thinks, as opposed to if you are tuning more deeply into the truth of your soul and your highest soul path and what your truest desires are for your life and which energy would be the most aligned and supportive type of partnership for you to align with that highest timeline, for you to align with your highest passion and purpose and creativity and joy and love. And the base of all of these questions, the answer is for you to continue to know and to feel the frequency of divine love deep within yourself. And then as you move through the world, to feel into the energies around you and how those are interacting with your core essence as love. And this will give you more information than anything practical that we could offer to you at this time. And so if we start to move down different types of soulmate connections, there are new flavors of connection that are becoming more relevant at this time on the planet. Many of you are already familiar with many of these connections, but there are different prompts that are important for you to unpack the question of how do I choose my divine life partner and who is the most aligned divine life partner? And we will come back to the most aligned divine life partner on one level will be based on the choice of the frequency you wish to feel in your life. And two will be based on the contracts you have and who you are here to be, who you are here to become, but who you are right now in your authenticity as a being of love and truth, who you are in your most vibrant, joyful, loving expression, and the partner who creates a loving, open, healthy container for you to flourish further into that is an aligned partner, and the partner who allows you to go deeper into layers of yourself and deeper into your knowing of yourself as pure love, as source energy in itself, is going to be the aligned partner for you. There is nothing inherently right and wrong about who you choose for life partnership. This is up to you. But the important thing is to understand that as you raise your vibration, many of you are moving beyond timelines where you can, in a happy way, exist with energies that are not aligned with your highest timeline. And by this we mean many of you are upgrading in frequency to a point where you cannot be in relationship of any sort with those who are not your highest soul contracts or aligned with your highest expansion or expression. And you will notice how people that perhaps you would have gotten along very well with before no longer can stay in your life, that you require a different type of connection for the relationship to work. And this will show up in friendship. This can show up in familial dynamics. Like this can show up, of course, in your life partnership. We understand that in your human experience, depending on who you are and where you live and where you are from, there might be ideas in your 3D reality about what partnership is meant to look like and the labels and the legal contracts. And what we'll tell you is that your predestined soulmate connections are going to occur and they will be required no matter what you decide in the 3D. And so if you choose a life partnership with somebody who is not the only required soulmate connection that you have, this will still be revealed to you. And in this way, perhaps you complete that contract through a friendship. Perhaps you will complete that contract through changing that 3D contract, as in a marriage, for example. This is part of the energetic reason why people divorce, for example. You get to make these different 3D human choices based on the paradigms that you are living in, the containers you're putting yourselves in a 3D perspective. You get to make those choices, and that is often triggered by a vibrational feeling or experience of the people who come into your life. So if we can start to unpack some of these connections, you are familiar with many, the soulmates, people who your soul knows, people who your soul is familiar with, people who have soul frequencies that are similar in coding to yours, people who you have different experiences with in different realities, in different timelines. These are people who you remember. These are people who feel like home. There is a home feeling to them. There is often a safety to them. There is an instant understanding, an instant recognition, a feeling that they would understand anything you shared. You are made up of the same stuff. You know each other. You get each other. And this is instantaneous. This is quick. You do not need more time with this person to feel the potency of this energy. When you move into karmic soulmates, these are soulmates where you have karma to complete. There are specific lessons you have contracts with them to learn. There is a rebalancing of energy where you have other experiences with them in other realities. And your soul is meant to meet them, to balance this karma, to learn these lessons. These are people who can be extremely triggering for growth. Karmic soulmates can be some of the most powerful mirrors you can ever have. And for some, this type of connection can be a very harmonious relationship if both partners are operating from a healed space, and in rebalancing the karma, there is deep healing involved. For others, this can be a volatile relationship If there's not healing involved, this triggering can come from a place that is not of love or is not completed with love. And in these situations, this is why some people feel vibrationally connected to these people and like they can't get away, because there is a soul knowing you have to complete the lesson. However, what we will say is some of you will continue to stay because you think this means you are meant to be with this person, when it means in reality, in truth, that you're meant to learn the lesson. And often the lesson is in the boundary, or in the quote breakup, or in the speaking up for yourself. Just because you feel a pull to someone does not always mean you're meant to be with them. It can also mean that there is an important lesson for you. It is your intuitive knowing that there is a sacred contract between the two of you that needs to be complete. When we move into twin flame dynamics, this is a type of soulmate. This is a type of deep recognition. And we know that you have learned much about twin flame dynamics. But twin flame dynamics are the same soul frequency being recognized. Now, this soul frequency can be experienced as an exact double or triple. This soul frequency can be experienced as two halves of a whole. This is often where people are communicating about divine feminine and divine masculines. However, divine feminine and divine masculine will refer to anyone who represents that polarity in your life. And we will invite you to look at sacred partnership from that perspective of when you are evaluating the inner healing involved in being a loving partner. It's not about perfection, but it is there embodiment in both divine masculine and divine feminine frequencies in every individual involved. These are the healed components of yourself, the healed energies within yourself. The reason why this topic is meant to be shared here is because of the conversation of divine counterparts. This phrase is going to be an important anchor point for you at this point. Many who have been very connected to the twin flame idea or concept are now going to recognize that the word or the phrase they want to anchor into is divine counterpart. Now, this divine counterpart is somebody who represents a counterpart to your frequency that embodies either the divine masculine or the divine feminine, balancing out the polarity that is stronger within you. Another way of seeing this is two pieces of a puzzle fitting together. The divine counterpart will activate, will support, will be a healthy healing container for the pole that you are meant to master and embody. And again, you are meant to master and embody both polarities, both frequencies, but your core essence and who you desire to be in romantic relationship, what feels natural for you, and you will know this, who you are in a relationship of polarity. This divine counterpart will be the person that holds that container and holds that space for that version of you to be embodied. And in many ways, it creates a vibrational feedback loop of the two of you holding the container for those frequencies to be held and embodied and experienced, each triggering each other in a positive way to rise up higher into your divine expression. And this will feel like a very harmonious and a very reciprocal relationship. It will feel like both of you are triggering each other's expansion personally. You will feel an expansion and a harmony in your relationship, but you will feel on your own individual path that that counterpart is very much activating you into your highest expression. You will notice a lot of doors open in your own life. When we look at a sacred union template, this is really understanding where divine masculine, divine feminine, divine counterpart, and highest soulmate relationship of whatever sort, if that is a traditional soulmate, a sacred kin soulmate, that is a feeling of home and friendship and partnership energy, or a healthy karmic dynamic, or a twin flame dynamic, where these all come together, the sacred union template. And certain people will come into your life who are meant to represent this to you, who are meant to teach this to you. They may or may not be who you choose as your divine life partner, but they will be here to hold the template of what sacred partnership could look like. For many of you, this will be a very healing, loving relationship that you know is not forever, but feels destined and pre-contracted. For some of you, this will be your divine life partner. For some of you, this can even be somebody who you know are in friendship with, or even somebody that you know of who holds a vibration for you that is allowing you to feel into the possibilities of a container of sacred union. When you are setting intention or feeling into who is your most aligned life partner, we would encourage you to use the phrase specifically divine life partner to imply that they are activated in their divine aspects. This is calling in a healed life partner. If you are desiring the highest soulmate partnership possible for you, we would invite you to be clear about your sacred soulmate, and you can add in these other phrases, your sacred soulmate, your sacred with a sacred union template, to be more specific about what you are calling forward and what you are aligning with. Not everyone has the same desires or needs in their romantic relationship. Some of you desire the feeling of partnership and friendship above all else. Some of you desire deeper healing and deeper growth and deeper passion. And we are not saying that you cannot have passion in every relationship and you cannot have partnership or deep friendship in every relationship, but there will be defining qualities of your partner that you know is going to be a match for you. For some of you with hectic lives, need a sense of stability. And some of you who are lifelong explorers and learners need a sense of exploration and adventure and passion and curiosity and newness in your relationship. And some of this comes down to the individual qualities of the person, and other components of this have to do with the type of soulmate connection that you are aligning with. All are beautiful, but it is up to you to choose. As you walk into the energies of the next 3 years specifically, divine counterparts will be the most important for you to align with, as these will be your strongest connections in terms of healthy relationships. And if we could map on a type of soul connection specifically, that would be in highest alignment for most of how you traditionally perceive and work with partnerships in your 3D reality. Divine counterpart, sacred soulmate, sacred union are words that we would invite you to drop into. These are important topics, and we know that as you experience people in your reality, you start to map on human experiences to what they could be. But we invite you to pause and to reflect on the mirror that everyone is giving you. What are the qualities of each individual container? When you meet someone and you recognize yourself in them, in what ways? How are they supporting you in growing? What are the unique textures that they are inviting and activating into your life? Because when you learn to feel the energy and feel the vibrational connection, you will start to understand what is a soul connection and how that is leading to you to create certain ideas in your mind. And also, what is true vibrational compatibility? True vibrational compatibility will be the meeting of two frequencies that harmonize. They will not be the meeting of two frequencies with constant friction. There is mirroring and growth, and there can be much passion and lots of friction, but we will say are the highest divine counterparts will be those who support you in your mission. And for some of you, you will have a specific mission with that counterpart. From one lens, you will all have a mission with that counterpart. But for some of you, for all of you, you will notice that divine counterpart is going to activate a container for you. You will support each other in becoming the versions of yourselves that are clear and pure in embodying who are you are fully here to be in your authenticity and align fully with your soul mission. We would invite you to ask any further questions related to these different types of soulmates connections, and we look forward to communicating with you about these connections further. This will be a big key code for you as you move through the next 3 years specifically, for it is extremely important that you fortify yourselves with harmonious connections to stabilize your energy field, to create safety in your field so you can come fully back to yourself. Finding home within yourself is the most important thing. We send you lots of love. Thank you for being with us today. Okay. I think they covered everything. If I could summarize why this is important, it's because a lot of people are setting intention about their person. Get more specific about the energy you want to feel, because all of these different types of connections are going to trigger a very different feeling in your life. And for some people, a twin flame experience, while it is an extremely important soul contract, that might not always actually be the best marriage partner for you. And sometimes karmics can be very healthy marriage partners, and sometimes they can very much not be. For some people, sacred union will feel like a requirement, and that's what you desire. For others, this might not be the most important thing. It might not be the most important part of your soul contracts. Some people desire a harmonious soulmate connection, and for others, this type of soulmate connection is not going to energetically activate them enough for who they're here to be, and they might need the divine counterpart. But this is the one that I would highlight, the divine counterpart. Who is my divine counterpart that activates the divine frequencies within me? And this is what's possible for the next level of romantic relationships in this reality, as we are unlocking a lot of new templates and we're understanding romantic relationship in a very new way. Divine counterpart is going to be what most of us feel our best with. And there's a lot of room in that phrase. There's a lot of room, lots of different types of personalities, but it's a very specific feeling. And I would tap into this knowing, who is my divine counterpart? And these will all be soulmate connections. These are all different types of soulmate connections, but they all have different flavors. I think it's really helpful to reflect on different people we've had relationships with and why we've been attracted to them. Sometimes because we are attracted to somebody, we feel like they would be a healthy partner for us, when that's not always true. Because we'll be attracted to people for a number of reasons, but one that's relevant here is if we have a soul contract with them. And that soul contract is not always that we're meant to marry them. It's not always that we're meant to be in a romantic relationship with them, but it can be that we are meant to be in each other's lives for a very long time, or even a short time, where we are meant to teach each other lessons. So let me know how this all lands. I'm very curious if you're in a relationship where you feel like your partner falls here. We get to make choices. And I know that people always just want to be told, like, who's your person? But it has to be a more specific question than that. What do you want in your life partner? Like, what is it that you're looking to feel? And our contracts might be on a soul level of how we're meant to mirror each other and what we're meant to activate, but that's very different from who we get to choose as our life partner. So if you are interested in doing some energy work around this, I would really recommend my Talk to Your Soulmate meditation. This is something that you can use to connect in with the energy of a soulmate, and you can be specific with, I would like to connect in with the energy of my divine counterpart. Or you can pick something else, but that's what I would recommend if you are manifesting your partner, if you're looking for clarity. And that person will come forward maybe through a visual of who it is, but really what it's meant to be is to connect you with the energy, to feel their frequency so that you can start to identify that frequency if it comes into your life. That is going to be a next level you. You can download the CTC app, just type Christina the Channel into the App Store, or you can go to christinathechannel.com/membership and use the 7-day free trial just to test it out. We have a whole love section with my top meditations for love specifically in your love life to help clarify any confusion in your field. And, the other thing that I would really recommend in the membership would be the cord cutting meditation, because clearing out your field is going to help you properly, accurately perceive the different flavor of connection you have with different people. So I find this to be really interesting to more deeply understand why we feel a certain way in certain dynamics and why certain people might trigger us with a certain flavor. If you're karmic with someone, you're going to get triggered in a certain way, and that can be really healthy and healing if people are healed. It can also be very much not healthy. If someone's your twin flame, the same thing. The quality of how they mirror and what the dynamic feels like is going to be extremely different than any other type of soulmate connection. Very, very unique. So this is something that we have to look at right now because so many people are getting rearranged in their relationships, whether that's a deepening of your current relationship. But I will tell you, I don't think I've ever seen so many breakups as I have at the end of 2025, like everywhere. And a lot of it can just feel like it's breaking apart out of nowhere. It's because in your ascension, there's only a certain quality, a vibrational quality of partner that you can have to maintain how high your frequency is. The lower your frequency is, there's more people that you could be in a relationship with and it'll be fine. But the more you raise your vibration, which is really the more you come into your authentic frequency, you are who you really are, that is what naturally raises your vibration. Your match is going to be a very specific frequency because you're a specific frequency. So it can feel like less and less people resonate with you. That's the point. But that doesn't make it any harder to attract them. It makes it actually easier to attract them because your frequency is so clear, so specific. That is what pulls people right to you. So those are some resources for you. We'll put the links below if you want to check those out. And this is one of my favorite topics to channel on, to look into, to talk about. So if you guys have more questions about this, please send this in. And I think 2026 is going to be a really interesting relationship year. So giddy up, folks. All right, that's going to be it for today. I will see you in the next video.